Hello students, you're welcome to today's class. My name is Banke. I will be going through NABTEB Chemistry past questions. So let's get started. Question 1. What is an atom? From the picture here, it shows what an atom is. An atom is the smallest particle of a matter and is made up of proton, electron, and neutron. So let's take a look at the options. Option A, the largest unit of matter made up of electrons only. Option B, the smallest particle of matter made up of electrons, protons, and neutrons. Option C, a particle made up of only protons and neutrons. D, a unit of energy. So which one is the correct answer to the question? Option B is the correct answer. An atom is the smallest particle of a matter that is made up of electrons, protons, the positively charged, electron negatively charged, and neutrons, which is neutral. So an atom is not made up of only protons and neutrons. That makes option B the correct answer. Question 2. What does the atomic mass number represent? This question is asking what an atomic mass number is. An atomic mass number is the sum of proton and neutrons in an atom. So proton and neutron are present in the nucleus of an atom. So the sum of the positively charged and neutron in an atom is equal to an atomic mass number. So option A, the number of electrons only. Option B, the sum of protons and neutrons in an atom. C, the charge of the nucleus. D, the number of neutrons only. Like I said earlier, atomic mass combines sum of positively charged proton and neutron. So that's option B, the sum of protons and neutrons in an atom. Option B is the correct answer. Question 4. Question 3. What is nuclear charge? Nuclear charge is the sum, neutron is present in the nucleus of an atom. So nuclear charge is the sum of proton charges in the nucleus, because neutron is neutral, it has no charge, and neutron and proton are present in the nucleus of an atom. Since neutron has no charge and proton has charge, so the sum of the proton charges in the nucleus of an atom is what is called nuclear charge. Option A, the total number of electrons in an atom. Option B, the number of neutrons in the nucleus. Option C, the sum of proton charges in the nucleus. Option D, the combining power of an atom. From the options, option C is the correct answer. So nuclear charge is the sum of proton charges in the nucleus of an atom. Option C is the correct answer. Question 4. What is valency? Valency, the definition of valency is the combining power of an atom. So valency, for instance, you think of maybe there's a particular slot for a training and it's fixed for 5, and you have 3 people that are registered. That means there's a need for extra 2 intending participants. So bringing back to chemistry, valency is either a loss of electron or gain of electron to complete a particular number of electrons. So valency is the combining power of an atom when it reacts with another to form a bond. Option A, the number of neutrons in the nucleus. That's not correct. Option B, the combining power of an atom when it reacts with another to form a bond. Option C, the mass of an atom. Option D, the atomic number. Let's look at this, for example. For hydrogen, it has atomic number of 1. And in this shell, you need like 2 electrons to fill it. So hydrogen is in need of 1 more electron to complete the number of electrons to fill this shell. That's -1. So that's what valency, that the illustration of what valency implies. So option B is the correct answer. Valency is the combining power of an atom when it reacts with another to form a bond. Option B is the correct answer. What is isotopy? When you think of isotopy, it means isotopes of an element. For instance, carbon. Isotopy is mainly atom of an element having the same atomic number but different mass number. That's the number of neutrons. It has the same number of protons but different number of neutrons. So let's take a look at the options. Option A, occurrence of atoms of an element with the same number of neutrons. Option B, occurrence of 2 or more atoms of an element with different number of neutrons. C, the process of atom losing electrons. D, the number of protons in an atom. So like I explained earlier, isotopes of an element have the same number of proton but different number of neutron, different mass number. So the correct answer is option B, occurrence of 2 or more atoms of an element like carbon. We have carbon 12 and carbon 13, but they have the same atomic number. And this one has 6 protons, 6 neutrons. But these are 6, carbon 13 has 6 protons, 7 neutrons. So this is what is termed as isotopes. So carbon 12 and 13, they are the same atom of an element with the same number of protons, 6, but different number of neutrons as it is written here. The first one has 6 and the second one has 7. So that is what is known as isotopy. Option B is the correct answer. Question 6. Which of the following represents atoms, isotopies, or isotopes of carbon? Option A, 12 carbon and 14 carbon. Option C, 16 oxygen and 18 oxygen. Option C, 35.5 chlorine and 17 chlorine. Option D, 1 hydrogen and 2 hydrogen. So the question is specific, is asking which of these following options represents isotopes of carbon. So option A is the correct answer, 12 carbon and 14 carbon. So they have the same, this 12 carbon, like is here 6 proton, 6 neutron. We also have 14 carbon. That means 6 protons and 8 neutrons. So that makes carbon to exhibit isotopy. Option A is the correct answer. Question 7. Which of these is not a use of oxygen? Option A, respiration of plants and animals. Definitely animals and plants, they make use of oxygen. B, in the welding of metals. In welding of metals, they also make use of oxygen. For example, the use of oxyacetylene flame is being adopted. In cooking fuel only, option C. D, in steel industry. So which of these options does not require the use of oxygen? Is in cooking fuel. The other options, they require the use of oxygen, but in cooking fuel, just need like air, a burning air. So oxygen is not, a pure oxygen is not necessarily involved in the process of cooking fuel. So option C is the correct answer. Question 8. What is the chemical equation for the decomposition of potassium triiosochlorate to produce oxygen? So here is the equation. We are given potassium triiosochlorate will decompose to give potassium chloride plus oxygen. If you look at this equation, you can see that the product and the reactant, especially for oxygen, is not balanced. That means what, the number of oxygen at this side is not equivalent to the number of oxygen at the other side. So how can we balance this equation? Let's put 2 here. Now there's a change. We have 2 potassium, 2 chlorine here, but we have 1 chlorine, 1 potassium. So to balance this, we need to put 2 at this side. So let's see if our equation is balanced. We have 2 potassium, 2 potassium here, 2 chlorine, 2 chlorine, that is balanced. What about oxygen? 2 times 3, that's 6. And here we have just 2. So to make this oxygen to be balanced, just since we have 6, what can make this oxygen, we have 2 atoms of oxygen here, what can make it to be equal to 6? That's 3, by adding 3. That be 3 times 2, 6. So if you look at this equation, is balanced. So let's take a look at our option. Which of our option is equivalent to what we have on the board? That's option A. Option A is the correct answer. Question 9. What mass of calcium chloride is produced when 2.23 gram of calcium reacts with excess chlorine gas? So do a bit of calculation here. So we're given calcium, that's calcium chloride. Let's calculate the mass of this. Okay, the mass of calcium chloride. Let's calculate the mass of this. We know that the mass of calcium is 40, and then times 1, plus calcium is 35.5, because we have 2 atoms, chlorine rather, because we have 2 atoms, that means we'll multiply it by 2. So that will be 40 plus 35.5 plus 35.5. That's 10. That's 71. 71. And 40 plus 71 will give you 101 gram. So, say what mass of calcium chloride is produced when, for the equation, we have Ca plus Cl2. So we have, they were given 1 mass of calcium chloride. This is the total mass of calcium chloride. And the mass of calcium is 40, like we said before. That's like is fixed. 40 will give you 111 gram. So 1 mass of calcium will give this amount. So we have 40 gram of calcium will give this. So 2.23 gram of calcium will give what? Unknown. So let's term that as X. So here we just cross multiply. That will be 40 times X is equal to 111 times 2.23. So you want to make X the subject of formula. That would be, this is 40X is equal to 111 times 2.23. So then, making X the subject of formula, you divide both sides by 40. That would be, divide both sides by 40. That would be X is equal to 111 times 2.23 all over 40. When you press your calculator well, you get 6.19 gram. So that's the answer. So from the options provided, we have 2.23 gram, option A, option B 4.46 gram, option C 6.19 gram, option D 8.92 gram. So from our calculation here, we see that the answer is 6.19 gram. Option C is the correct answer. Question 10. What is formula mass? What is formula mass? Formula mass is the mass of atoms or ions in a formula. When you add, like, for instance, now you have a recipe for cake. So formula mass in that aspect is all the ingredients, the sum of all the ingredients that makes up the product. That's what formula mass is. For example, you have this, and the formula mass is the addition of the sodium, sulfur, and oxygen. That's formula mass. So option A, the mass of an atom only. Option B, the mass of all atoms or ions in a formula of a compound. Option C, the atomic number of an element. Option D, the number of electrons in an atom. So the correct answer is the mass of all atoms, like it is in this compound, in a formula of a compound. Option B is the correct answer. Question 11. What is an ionic equation? When you talk of an ionic equation, they are the ions that participate in the reaction. So option A, a chemical equation showing only molecules. A chemical equation showing the ions involved as reactants and products. Option C, a physical equation involving ionic bonds. Option D, a nuclear reaction equation. So the meaning of the ionic equation is ions that are involved as reactants and products. They are involved in reaction. So option B is the correct answer. Question 12. What are allotropes? So allotropes are elements, they have the same shape, but they are different, but they have the same physical state. So let's look at the option. Different forms of an element in different physical states. That's not correct. B, different elements with similar properties. C, different forms of an element in the same physical state. Option D, molecules that have ionic bonds. So the correct answer is different forms of elements, but they have the same state. They have the same shape, for instance. So option C is the correct answer. Question 13. What is covalent bond? During the course of answering the question, we made mention of valency. That means trying to transfer electron either to lose or gain to form a bond. So covalent, let's look at it. When electron, just break it down, co and valent. So option A, when electrons are transferred between atoms. Option B, when pairs of electrons are shared between two atoms to form bonds. Option C, when atoms lose electrons completely. Option D, when atoms are held by metallic bonds. Like I said earlier, you just split it co, that means you share something. And valence, pairs of electrons are being shared between two atoms. So option B is the correct answer. Covalence means when pairs of electrons are shared between two atoms to form bonds. Option B is the correct answer. Question 14. What is the IUPAC name of this compound? The IUPAC name. That's the correct compound is H2SO3. So what is the IUPAC name of this compound? Option A, sulfuric acid. Option B, triisosulfate 4 acid. Option D, sulfurous acid. Option D, dihydrogen sulfate. It's kind of tricky. We have two correct answers here. It can be triisosulfate 4 acid or sulfurous acid. But the one that is commonly used and accepted is sulfurous acid, option C. Question 15. Which of the following describes the laboratory preparation of carbon dioxide using marble chips? These marble chips, well, what is marble chips? It contains calcium carbonate. And this question is asking how carbon dioxide is prepared in the laboratory. So the marble chips, that's calcium carbonate, is reacts with HCl, hydrochloric acid. So, and it gives calcium chloride and water. So the final product is CO2, which is collected over water. So this final product is CO2. So that's reaction of HCl with calcium carbonate gives calcium chloride, H2O, and CO2. So let's look at the option. Passing dilute hydrochloric acid over marble chips and collecting gas over water. B, burning marble chips in oxygen. C, mixing marble chips with sulfuric acid. D, reacting marble chips with sodium hydroxide. So option C looks like it, mixing, but it doesn't end there. So it's passing dilute hydrochloric acid over, it's not sulfuric acid, it's hydrochloric acid, over marble chips, and then the carbon dioxide is collected over water. Option A is the correct answer. Question 16. What is a chemical property of carbon dioxide? So, chemical property of carbon dioxide, that means a chemical reaction is being involved. That's what it simply means. So, and for a chemical reaction to be involved, that means a product has to be formed. That's the meaning of, a chemical change has taken place or is being taken place. Option A. So which of these options is a chemical property of carbon dioxide? Option A, it dissolves in water to form carbonic acid. That means a product is being formed. Let's note that. Option B, it burns easily in air. Option C, it reacts with alkali to form carbonate and water. So which of these? We say that option A and option C, products are formed. So that makes both A and C correct options. So the answer is D. Both A and C are correct. Option D is the correct answer. Yeah. Question 17. Which is not a use of carbon dioxide? Option A, used as fire extinguisher. B, used to manufacture washing soda. C, used as a coolant in nuclear reactors. D, used to increase atmospheric oxygen. So out of these options that are listed, which of these options does not make use of carbon dioxide? If we look at option D, used to increase atmospheric oxygen. So carbon dioxide does not have anything to do with oxygen. That makes option D the correct answer. So option D, carbon dioxide is not used to increase atmospheric oxygen. Option D is the correct answer. Question 18. The dehydration of propan-1-ol produces A, propene, B, propanol, C, propylmethanoate, D, propanol. The dehydration, that means the removal of water or propanol, or we produce an alkane. And from this option, option A is an alkane, propane, from the name alkane, propane. So option A is the correct answer, propane. Question 19. The reaction between methanoic acid and propane-1-ol produces. So looking at the reaction, this is methanoic acid reacting in the presence of dilute catalyst, reacting to produce propene methanoate. It produces propene methanoate and water. So this whole reaction is known as an esterification reaction, and the product is ester and water. So the ester is propylmethanoate and water. So the reaction between methanoic acid and propane-1-ol will produce propylmethanoate and water. Option A, propene. Option B, propylmethanoate and water. C, methanol. D, propanoic acid. From this equation, you can see that option B, propylmethanoate and water, is the correct answer. Question 20. Which type of reaction is dehydration? Hydration means water. D, that means removal of water molecules. So which of this reaction? We have addition reaction. Nothing is being added. Is removal of water. Option B, esterification. Option C, dehydration. Option D, substitution. Nothing is being substituted. So that makes option C, dehydration, is a type of reaction. So option C is the correct answer, dehydration. Question 21. Carbon dioxide is prepared in the laboratory. This question is coming up again by option A, passing dilute hydrochloric acid over marble chips. Option B, burning marble chips. C, reacting marble chips with sodium hydroxide. D, reacting marble chips with water. The correct answer is passing dilute HCl over marble chips to generate water and CO2. So question 22. The two chemical properties of carbon dioxide are chemical reaction being taken place and a product has to be formed. A, it burns easily and dissolves in water. B, it forms carbonic acid with water and reacts with alkalis to form salt. C, it is a gas and it's colorless. D, it reacts with metal only. So the only options that shows that a product or a chemical reaction is taking place is option B. It forms carbonic acid with water and reacts with alkalis to form salt. Option B is the correct answer. Question 23. Covalent bonding involves, that means to share. The meaning of co is a co-owner. They are sharing, a percentage in a business or something. So question 23. A, sharing of electron pairs between two atoms. B, transfer of electrons. C, metallic bonding. D, ionic bonding. The correct answer is sharing of electron pairs between two atoms. Question 24. Which of the following is a difference between physical and chemical change? What is a physical change? In a physical change, no product is formed, like a new product is not formed. For example, the mixture of water and salt, is reversible. You can easily get your salt back when the water is evaporated. So for a chemical change, let's say burning of wood, another product entirely is being formed, like the ashes. So you cannot get your wood back. A new product has been formed. So it's an irreversible change. So let's take a look at the options. Option A, no new substance formed in chemical change. That is not correct. New substances are formed. Option B, physical change is not reversible. Chemical change is reversible. That is not correct. C, physical change does not involve change in mass. Chemical change may involve mass change. D, chemical changes can be separated by physical means. Option C is the correct answer. Physical change does not involve change in mass, while chemical change may involve change in mass. Option C is the correct answer. Question 25. What is electrovalency? Option A, sharing of electrons between atoms. That's the meaning of covalent. Option B, transfer of electrons from one atom to another, forming ions. Option B, combination of atoms in a molecule. Option D, formation of covalent bonds. So valency is that you transfer or gain. So transfer of electrons from one atom, then another atom is gaining it to form ions. Option B is the correct answer. Question 26. Which cell is used for electrolytic production of chlorine from brine? So what is brine? It simply means concentrated sodium chloride. So which of these cells is used for electrolytic production of chlorine from concentrated sodium chloride? Is it A, Daniell cell, B, voltaic cell, C, Kellner Solvay cell, D, lead acid cell? The correct answer is Kellner Solvay cell. This cell is specifically designed for production, electrolytic production of chlorine from concentrated sodium chloride. The correct answer is Kellner Solvay cell. Option C. Question 27. In the electrolysis of brine, which is sodium concentrated sodium chloride, what gas is liberated at the anode? In this process, two um, different gas are liberated, the hydrogen gas and chlorine gas. But hydrogen gas is liberated at the cathode, while chlorine gas is liberated at anode. So the correct answer is B, chlorine. Question 28. Which condition is necessary for iron to rust? What condition makes rusting to happen? One, option A, presence of water and oxygen. B, absence of oxygen. C, high temperature only. D, acidic environment only. When you leave an iron or steel and it's not galvanized, that means it's not coated with zinc. If water keeps touching it in the presence of moisture or water, it can lead to rusting. That's formation of iron 3 oxide. So the correct answer is A, presence of water and oxygen. Option A is the correct answer. Question 29. Which method is not used to prevent rusting? So in order to prevent rusting, which of these listed in the option is not used? Option A, painting. Yes, painting works. Greasing, you can grease with oil. Electroplating. D, eating. So the only option that is not used to prevent corrosion, rusting, is eating. Option D. Question 30. What happens when anhydrous calcium chloride is exposed to the atmosphere? If you look at this, you see the calcium chloride, when it is exposed in the presence of moist or water vapor, it forms hydrated calcium chloride. So anhydrous calcium chloride absorbs moisture from the atmosphere and it becomes hydrated calcium chloride. So option A, it remains unchanged. B, it absorbs moisture and become hydrated. C, it reacts with oxygen to form calcium oxide. D, it's evaporated. Because calcium chloride is hygroscopic in nature, so it tends to absorb moisture from its environment. So option B is the correct answer. It absorbs moisture and becomes hydrated. It forms hydrated calcium chloride. Option B is the correct answer. Now we have come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you in the next class.
Hi, I'm sure you enjoyed the content you just watched. To see more episodes as that, preparing you for your oncoming exams, smash the subscribe button on this channel right now and visit the playlist that we've made for you, covering over 50 types of different exams, including JAMB, WAEC, Cacao, NEET, IALT, and the likes like that. Also, in every video you watch, we have the link to our apps where you can download on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store and practice hundreds of past questions for free.